Grandpa Joe's attic is packed with old toys, clocks, and gadgets. Buried in the clutter sits the ultimate creative artifact, a glowing golden pencil. Milo, an 8-year-old boy, discovers its main rule almost immediately. He sketches a chocolate chip cookie on a piece of paper, and a real cookie pops into existence, followed closely by a talking rabbit. It is innocent, harmless ideation. But Grandpa Joe offers a warning. Anything drawn with this pencil becomes tangible reality. That ability is powerful, but it comes with a requirement for wisdom. Grandpa's point is that the pencil doesn't have an off switch or a safety filter. Because the tool itself has no limits, the person holding it has to provide them. Without that internal restraint, a tool that can make anything becomes a liability. Enter the Shadow Goblin. He snatches the pencil away from Milo, shifting the situation from innocent exploration to unchecked consumption. The goblin operates entirely on personal gratification. He plans to draw an endless supply of candy for himself, completely ignoring what that volume of output might do to the space around him. This diagram models what we can call the vacuum. When a user with zero restraint takes control of infinite generative power, they trigger a feedback loop that outputs exponentially expanding chaos. The real threat isn't that the goblin is a calculating villain. The threat is simply the sheer volume of what he creates when he has a powerful tool and no reason to stop. The goblin immediately tests his new capacity by drawing giant jelly monsters. They fill the confined attic, resulting in violent impacts as they smash into Grandpa Joe's boxes and stick to the walls. He generates these chaotic entities by brute force, without a plan. Once they enter the room, he has no way to manage the mess he's made. Milo realizes he can't fight the monsters directly. Instead of matching the goblin's chaos with more monsters, he relies on spatial problem solving. He grabs a crayon, targets a specific patch of the floor, and sketches a giant trampoline. This vector layout shows the logic of Milo's solution. The trampoline acts as an intelligent redirect. A flat horizontal plane catches the monster's downward kinetic energy and shoots them sharply upward, clearing the room. Effective design solves complex problems by redirecting existing forces, rather than just generating new ones to fight them. The goblin watches his jelly monsters bounce away, and he grows frustrated. He reacts by falling into a common trap, the arms race of scale. When a bad idea fails, he tries to overcome the failure by simply drawing something larger and louder. The goblin sketches a massive dragon built out of jagged, crystallized sugar, bringing the destruction to a much higher level. Attempting to fix a broken system by endlessly expanding it only magnifies the disaster. Scaling up a flawed process usually guarantees a critical system failure. At this point, we might expect Milo to follow that same logic. We expect him to draw a heavier shield, a larger knight, or a bigger weapon to fight the dragon. Instead, Milo draws a heavy pink eraser. Within this environment, the eraser has a very specific function, removing noise rather than adding to it. This visual compares two different methods of design. On the left, additive creation rapidly layers shapes until the space is cluttered. On the right, subtractive curation selectively removes those outer shapes to reveal a clean core. In this case, deletion is more powerful than generation. This subtractive approach functions as a system reset. It erases the threat of the candy dragon and drops the goblin back to a baseline state. Mastery over a tool isn't defined by what you can generate. It is defined by having the restraint to remove what isn't working. The attic goes quiet. The goblin lands in a pile of marshmallows, and equilibrium returns to the room. Grandpa Joe warned Milo that the pencil required wisdom. Milo proved that wisdom means knowing when to hit undo. You see the same dynamic with modern tools like rapid prototyping and generative AI. When creating new outputs becomes frictionless, the ability to edit becomes the most vital skill. High-speed creativity is only productive when we govern our outputs with restraint and a willingness to curate what we make.